Creature Commandos continues this week with a full episode devoted to G.I. Robot, Sean Gunn's character on the team. After the action-packed first 2 episodes, James Gunn keeps it moving as Rick Flag and the team soon find the bride and Nina, who have been tied up and left in the destroyed Frankenstein's manor. Considering how the last episode ended with them bloody and dying on the ground in the rain, I assumed that's where we'll be picking up, but instead the bride looks pretty fine. Apart from being tied up, and Nina is trapped in a bathtub full of water since her helmet was broken. It's kinda deflated the tension for me a little bit when we go from characters on the verge of death to, oh hey, they're fine, and this was really the only thing in the episode that I didn't really enjoy. Flag and the others free the bride and learn that they were just a decoy, and with the team and the princess's main guard contingent out of the castle, Cersei and the Sons of Themyscira have taken the opportunity to raid the princess's home. G.I. Robot's story takes over from here as he's quite distraught that his friend Nina is hurt, helping her rejoin the team by carrying the giant bathtub with them back to the van so she won't die. We also get flashbacks to G.I.'s time in World War II, where he joined Easy Company, led by Sergeant Rock, character who we just learned is actually getting a movie. G.I. saves the group from a Nazi ambush in a forest, and Easy Company welcome him with open arms because of it. The war soon ends though, and G.I. Robot, whose sole programming was for war and killing Nazis, is left kind of without a purpose and away from his friends in Easy Company, and instead he's put on the TV circuit, where he's paraded around as a marvel of engineering. Sean Gunn is a fantastic voice actor and is able to bring so much emotional range out of this character, especially when he has one single characteristic. He only wants to kill Nazis, and the face of the character doesn't have eyebrows to move or a nose to scrunch up or anything. It's just very robotic face, if you will. Sean brings this longing to his voice acting. G.I. Robot misses the good old days, misses hanging out with his friends who at this point probably are all mostly dead, but he doesn't know that because he doesn't kind of understand that, because at heart he's kind of like a child. He's got that one programming function, kill Nazis, but beyond that he doesn't really know a lot about life. This is where Alan Tudyk's Will Magnus comes in, as the professor is given G.I. to study. While it's not overly said, it's plainly obvious Magnus is going to use him as the basis of his own Metal Men, which he's in the process of designing right now. We get to see little hints at their character symbols and what he plans on doing with the technology that's in G.I. G.I.'s backstory is intercut with the present day stuff where the Sons of Themyscira manage to get to the princess, who puts up quite a fight, killing a few of them as she runs around the castle. G.I. meanwhile relives more of his past in a time where decades after being activated in the mid-2000s, he is brought back to life by a seemingly kindly man who runs a military surplus store. The man, voiced by Gunn mainstay Michael Rooker, is happy to have a new friend in his life. And at first I thought this story was going in a real obvious way, the man is kind to G.I., he gets to look after his cats, and then someone robs his store or something and G.I. has to help him out, leading to him killing someone, and then that leads to him going into jail or being deactivated or something. But it actually goes in a completely different direction, as soon the man is revealed to be a part of some type of militant right-wing Nazi group, and he takes G.I. along with him to one of their meetings, figuring that the robot will make a good soldier for their quote-unquote war. Of course, the moment G.I. spots the giant swastika in the meeting, he blasts everyone in the room. G.I. killing everyone becomes national news, and he is actually put on trial, where the prosecutor says that he fits the bill for what a quote-unquote man is, so therefore he should be tried as one. G.I. is thrown into maximum security prison and picked up by Waller, and the rest is history. There's a neat little bit of a detail here in that the city that the Nazi meeting is set up in is Hub City, the home of the Question, and noticeably a city in the DC Comics that is considered even worse than Gotham, so of course there would be a Nazi problem there. I also find it really funny that most of the Nazis in that scene were old guys in A-frames, or they're just old men who boomers basically. So I thought it was pretty funny that he was just gunning down a group of boomers. This fits nicely in with the present, as G.I. is told by Flag that the Sons of Themyscira are Nazis, so the robot goes all out on them and even uses some new enhancements that I figure maybe Will Magnus gave him, or he originally had and we hadn't seen it before, where he can separate his bottom half from his top half and kind of float around the battlefield on like hover jets, which is really cool. But his all-out rampage is quickly brought to an end by Cersei, who obliterates him into pieces. Taking G.I. Robot out of the equation quite early on is actually a smart idea. The character really does have only one shtick: killing Nazis and saying that he loves killing Nazis, and after a while him constantly saying that would just get old, so getting a bit of it across in the first 2 episodes and then culminating here in that 3rd episode is smart. His death also serves to galvanize the team, who all seem to at least like G.I. Robot. They were never like combative against him. So his death actually makes Weasel and Dr. Phosphorus lock the fuck in and actually all but kill Cersei, slashing up her body, biting her, ripping pieces out of her, and even in Phosphorus's case, cook her face with the palm of his hand. Nina gets a last goodbye with G.I. as well before he fully deactivates, and it's real heartbreaking since they were a really nice little duo that James had built out over the first 2 episodes. It was a fun little dynamic that I really wish we'd got more of. As I said, I know why G.I. was taken off the board, but these little moments were really great and just wanted a couple more. The episode rounds out with another warning from Cersei as the team surround her, telling them that they have doomed everything and everyone. Again, I think this is more to do with the princess, and the princess is more than meets the eye, and she isn't who she says she is. The theory going around is that she is Clayface in disguise, and I can kind of buy that, but also we keep seeing Cersei show these like visions of like heroes being killed, you know, Superman, Wonder Woman, all of these different heroes being murdered, and then like cities like Metropolis on fire and surrounded by death and destruction. And I don't get that from Clayface, you know what I mean? Again, Clayface, like if the princess is Clayface, then she is like working for someone else. It's not going to be Clayface is the big bad of this series, and I'm intrigued to see which Clayface it is. I don't think it would be Basil Karloff, mainly because he's not like psychotic, like violently psychotic like this. I could see Matt Hagen being it. I'm intrigued as well to see which one they're going to use in the newly announced movie that's coming out in 2026 for Clayface. I have to imagine it will be Matt Hagen, since he is the more violent and monstrous Clayface. Speaking of the vision, we actually get to see another part of Cersei's vision that we saw in the last episode, and we get to see characters like Booster Gold, Animal Man, Wonder Woman, Supergirl, all again on the stakes that we saw the heroes in the previous one on. We get a glimpse at Metropolis as well, which is on fire. Really interesting stuff. I have no clue what it's building towards or what kind of threat it's building towards, but it's really interesting, and I like that every episode so far has had like a little tease of that. It's not something like a usual TV show would do where, you know, the first episode has like the setup to that sort of stuff, and then like mid-season you get another big setup, and then the end episodes is like where they deal with that sort of stuff. That's usually how seasons run, and that's even how like DC shows used to run. The Flash and Arrow and all that used to do that all the fucking time. But I like that they've changing things up here, where every episode gives us a little bit more of a hint about what's coming, and I think that's really exciting because it keeps momentum moving, and it keeps the excitement going as well week to week. Creature Commandos continues its just wonderful character storytelling. James Gunn skillfully builds out a G.I. Robot's character, diving into his history and his one goal in life, killing Nazis. Gunn just has a knack for telling compelling and thoughtful stories with just weirdo, you know, back characters who in any other writer or director's movie or TV show would just be set dressing for like one scene and we'd never see them again. Next week's episode promises to give Weasel some backstory, and I can't wait to see what tragic shit James has in store for him. I'm going to give this episode an 8.5 out of 10.